Welcome back, Dan Williams, Thrive Outdoors. So today we're doing venomous snakes. Should you get bit, what is the actual treatment that medical professionals recommend? Here we go. Venomous snake bites in the United States. So in a 5-year period in the late 90s, there was around 8,000 snake bites per year. That resulted in about 15 deaths per year. That has changed, and now we're looking at about 3 to 5 snake bites deaths per year. So that's pretty amazing considering there are a ton of people that are getting out in the outdoors more and more, hiking, backpacking. So this is a very small percentage of mortality out there. There's two main families of snakes that we're going to address: Viperdae and Elapidae, or Elapidae, pronounced both ways. And these two classifications, the Viperdae class, focuses on rattlesnakes, the cottonmouth or water moccasin, and copperheads. All three I've had a personal interaction with over the years. The rattlesnake is branched out into a variety of different species. And we're just going to talk rattlesnakes in general. I'm not going to break those down. I mean, I think in Arizona there's like 9 different species of rattlesnakes. I mean, my gosh, there's the timber rattlesnake, the western diamondback, the eastern diamondback, the Masagua, the pygmy, the tropical, the Pacific coast rattlesnake. There's so many different varieties. So the pictures I'm going to put up on the board here are going to be of the cottonmouth / water moccasin, south and southeastern areas of the United States, the copperhead, and the rattlesnake. And I specifically have one that I had an interaction with, which is a timber rattlesnake. Very interesting picture. So that's coming up. Let's talk about the bites. When a venomous snake bites, there's usually two types. A predatory bite, and that occurs when it's trying to feed. It's looking for a gopher, a rat, a mouse, some small animal. And on those bites, it usually regulates its venom, and because it's sizing up with its sensors, knowing how big this animal is. Then there is a defensive bite, and they've researched the heck out of this. And defensive bites, notoriously, they give more envenomation. There's more volume of venom on a defensive bite. If you're bit on the legs, those are usually accidental bites. And you're bit on the arms, that's because you're usually jacking around with the snake and you shouldn't even be trying to touch it. So the venoms of a juvenile venomous snake and the venom of an adult. A lot of misinformation on this. I've been watching off and on Naked and Afraid, Dual Survival, different ones on TV alone. Now that is some accurate survival stuff there. That's some good stuff. But you look at these other ones, there's so much misinformation. Number one, cottonmouths do not chase you. Does not happen. And then you hear things like, well, a juvenile snake is going to be more dangerous than an adult snake. So let's get that truth right out there right now. A juvenile snake, all of the research they've done shows that a juvenile rattlesnake its venom is about 2 to 3 times more toxic than an adult. However, an adult rattlesnake delivers 10 to 17 times more venom. Makes sense. Much more dangerous. So I just wanted to get that factoid out there so people understand and they can just have the truth about juvenile snakes. So out of all of the snakes in the United States, on paper, the most dangerous snake is the Mojave rattlesnake. Now, why is that? So I say on paper. It still results in very, very few deaths. People out on the west hopefully are smarter and they're not shacking around and trying to play with the snake. There's the Mojave A and the Mojave B. And the Mojave B snake is in Southern California, Arizona, around the Phoenix area. And scratch that. It's in Arizona, around Phoenix, and around Scottsdale, in the outskirts of central Arizona, is the Mojave bee. That venom is hemorrhagic. And then the Mojave A has a neurotoxic venom and a hemorrhagic venom. And those are the ones that are very dangerous. And the neurotoxic venom can mess with acetylcholine at our nerve synapses and affects our respiration where we can't breathe. So it's a very dangerous snake, the Mojave. It's found in California, Utah, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, the west edge of Arizona, and Nevada. So that is the Mojave A rattlesnake, and it's a dangerous puppy, I'm here to tell you. Out of all of the bites of venomous snakes, 75 to 80% of those actually envenomate. And out of those envenomations, around 35% are very mild, 25% are moderate, and about 10 to 15% are severe. So the other 20 to 25% are made up of dry bites. Now, what is a dry bite? A dry bite is when the snake misses you, or it actually can strike you and hit and puncture your skin, but it does not release any venom. And there's a lot of theories of why that happens. Some feel that maybe the snake just ate and it doesn't want to release venom. It's somewhat of a protective mechanism. It still scares the hell out of you, but hey, dry bite. That's awesome news, right? So I want to talk about a situation that occurred in 2019. I'm going to put this article in the discussion below, and I want you to check it out, and please read the article. It's very interesting. A professor at Indiana University, his wife and his 9-year-old daughter went down to my old stomping territory in southern Illinois, Shawnee National Forest. And they were walking down a trail in Jackson Falls in the heart of Shawnee National Forest. It's about, 40 minutes south of Marion, Illinois. And she walks over a log and she gets bit on the toe. They think in retrospect it was probably a copperhead. They transport her out. They fly her to Evansville, Indiana Hospital. Some Catholic hospital out there, and his total bill was $167,000. And she stayed one night overnight in the hospital. She had 3 vials of antivenom. One vial of antivenom right now costs about $3,197. Her hospital stay overnight, healthcare provider bills, radiology, lab, all totaled up to a whopping $167,000. So this hospital facility charged 4 and 5 times the price for one vial of antivenom. That is insane. I have been in the healthcare system for 40 years. In one state, you can have an appendectomy with no problems for $3,000 to $5,000. You can go to another state, same appendectomy, no problems for $10,000 to $15,000. This is our health system right now. It's a mess. I totally agree with my audience out there. So I want you to look at that. And why am I addressing that? I'm addressing that for a couple reasons. I did a video, and I'm going to put it on the discussion. I'll put it up here on the screen, that how to stay fit when you go in the outdoors. And one of the things I mentioned is backpacker or hiker's insurance. Now, the chances of you getting bit by a venomous snake is extremely remote. But for an extra $30, if you're going out to Arizona hiking, you're in the Pacific Trail, you're somewhere in the south where there's increased incidence of copperheads and cottonmouths and timber rattlesnakes, why not? I really advise that, because right now anti-venom is just insane in terms of the price. All right, so what happens when you get bit? What are the signs and symptoms? They got this all charted out, and they've done tons of studies on it and looked at the data in terms of what are the most common symptoms. So 100% of individuals that were envenomated have some type of fan mark, either 1 fang, 2 fangs, 3 fangs, or 4 holes. 4 is very rare. Now, in the picture of the timber rattlesnake that was given to me, and I basically holding there with a colleague of mine, if you look at that, you'll see that snake has 4 fangs. Those are accessory fangs in case one breaks off. However, you still could have like 4 puncture holes or 3 puncture holes. The second is swelling. 75% of individuals have swelling on their bite, and within a couple hours, that swelling can get absolutely massive, twice the size of your arm, and go up to your trunk. Same with your leg. 60% have pain, And about 50% of individuals that are envenomated, their blood pressure drops, they get hypotensive, they pass out, they get some muscle weakness and fatigue, and that scares the hell out of people that they're with, and they usually panic. So what is the treatment in the outdoors currently? What is the appropriate medical treatment for venomous snakebite? First, we're going to talk about what not to do. You are not going to cut the wound with a knife at all. You are not going to use suction. You are not going to use ice. You are not going to use a tourniquet. You are not going to take alcohol to clean the wound. Those are the things you absolutely are not going to do. So what are you going to do? You're going to transport this person yesterday. You're going to call 911 yesterday. You're going to get on this. You got to get this person evacuated out. If you are looking like you're like 12 to 24 hours away from getting out, well, that's a problem. So it even helps sometimes to build a gurney. If you're that far out, you need to have that person not exert themselves as much as possible. Build some type of gurney where you can carry the person out with some sticks. Anything like that would be beneficial. If you're less than 12 hours, then yeah, you're going to have that person walk out and take some breaks. So one of the things you're going to do is do not kill the snake. Take a picture. You probably got your cell phone with you. That's important to help identify. Yes, it is true. If you cut off the head of a snake, that head of that snake can have a reflexive bite for up to 1 hour. Remove all jewelry and all tight clothing around that bite. Very important. You know, in my backpack, we've seen some of those videos. I carry a Sharpie or a pen. You need to mark the time of the bite, and you want to draw a line on where that redness or swelling is at. And then you're going to mark every 15 minutes. That's going to tell us back at the ER or the urgent care how fast that is accelerating. That helps us with the amount of venom, and it tells us what we got going on in front of us. That's really helpful. Okay, so here we go. What do you do with the extremity? Do you keep it above? Do you keep it below? So if you keep it above, it's been shown that the venom is going to increase more so to the trunk of your body. If you keep it below, well, now you're going to have swelling. So what do? You're going to immobilize that limb, not wrap it tightly, and you're going to keep it neutral position, not low, not high, neutral. That is the best thing to do. What else? No Advil, no ibuprofen. That's been shown to increase some bleeding and mess with the platelets, so we don't want to do that. And then we're going to talk about the Australian wrap. So what is the Australian wrap? In the Elapidae group, which is the coral snakes and sea snakes in the U.S., those are neurotoxins. And in Australia, they developed this wrap technique, which has been proven to be pretty effective with neurotoxic venom. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that wrap, and like I talked to you before, and you're not going to do this on 99% of all venomous snake bites in the U.S. And you're going to wrap it, and you're going to go half. You take off the jewelry. See that? That's a no-no. Half. And this evenly distributes the pressure on that arm. But the reason we don't suggest you doing this is multifold. Look, you're scared. The victim's scared. You feel like you need to be in a hurry, and you're going to rush. You're going to put this on too tight, and you're going to have a bad outcome. The other thing that they found out, when you wrap this with a venomous snake that has hemorrhagic venom, and it's wrapped, and you release it all at once, you can get a bolus of venom that rushes to the trunk of the body. Not a good idea. So I don't wrap them. Just giving you the update on that. Anti-venom, kids versus adults. Do we, adjust the amount of anti-venom they're given? No, we don't. 99% of all medication we adjust for weight. For children with anti-venom, we treat the envenomation. We do not treat the size of the person. So a 9-year-old, 1 vial of venom is going to be the exact same amount we're going to give an adult. Little factoid. Thought some interesting information. So that's venomous snake bites, the medical treatment, the appropriate treatment in the outdoors. If you have any questions, suggestions, write them down below. I'd love to hear them. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your face to the wind. Keep looking under those logs and rocks. Stay safe.